Can I do anything?
Yes, Outlander. How do you...
Should you need something, I will be...
Hello there, Dark Elf. Might I interest you in doing the East Empire Company a favor? Yes. Well, it has come to my ears that Vajanius Harmavus, an Imperial living here in Helnum, is earning a substantial amount of pocket money by selling Dwemer artifacts. It appears that Vajanius Harmavus is selling them without the involvement of the East Empire Company, which is strictly forbidden. A couple of days ago, some drunkard at the Crystal Flower Inn was bragging to a member of the company about a bargain he made with Vajanius. As you understand, the East Empire Company must defend its monopoly on the trade of Dwemer artifacts. Since it looks like Vajanius' main targets are foreigners, you might have a better chance at collecting some evidence against him. And besides, I have more important matters to attend to. His house, just behind Argel Gro Urgush's smithy, might be a good place to start.
Go ahead. Keep moving.
Mara's cheer.
Ah, greetings. What shall we talk about?
Jokes. The Imperial Navy. Editor's note. This is the oldest and most The Healer's Tale.
I don't think we've been introduced, Outlander. I'm Vajanius Harmavus. How can I help you? You see those things pretty often around these parts of town. Certainly with Kamelzi nearby and the Archaeological Society just around the corner. I don't know much about those artifacts though. Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm an acrobat. As an entertainer, my job is to amaze and amuse my patrons. But in my more discreet vocation as your words, they make me feel, well, special. I can see where this is going. Perhaps you should leave. I feel the same way. It's been some time now for me. You know, this might be your lucky day. I have come into the possession of an artifact that used to belong to Dumak Dwarf King. You can imagine the historical value of this item, but since I like you a lot, I'll make a special price for you. After all, I don't have any use for it and I don't have the time to find a better buyer. You can have it for the reasonable price of 90 pieces of gold. What do you say? Excellent. Here you go. You made a real bargain there. Now if you would excuse me, I've got work to do.
Any news on Vajanius Harmavus' little scheme? Ah, this artifact is exactly what we need to accuse him of contraband. But is it me, or does it weigh much less than any other Dwemer coherer you've ever held in your hands? It does to me anyway. Maybe Vajanius is doing a lot more than just illegally selling Dwemer artifacts. Take this to Octavius Maris, over at the Archaeological Society near the West Gate, and let him have a look. Oh, and better not tell him where you got this thing from. It might compromise the investigation.
I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
Antecedents of Dwemer law. Who owns? Antecedents of Dwemer law. This book is a historical account of the development of Dwemer law and custom from its roots in High Elven culture. In short, so far as I am able to trace the order of development in the customs of the Bosmiri tribes, I believe it to have been in all ways comparable to the growth of Altmiri law. The earlier liability for slaves and animals was mainly confined to surrender, which, as in Somerset Isles, later became compensation. And what does this matter for a study of our laws today? So far as concerns the influence of the Altmiri law upon our own, especially the Altmiri law of master and servant, the evidence of it is to be found in every judgment which has been recorded for the last 500 years. It has been stated already that we still repeat the reasoning of the Altmiri magistrates, empty as it is, to the present day. And I will quickly show how Altmiri custom can be followed into the courts of the Dwemer. In the laws of Karndar Watch, PD 1180, it is said, if one who is owned by another slays one who owns himself, the owner must pay the associates 3 fine instruments in the body of the one who is owned. There are many other similar citations. And the same principle is extended even to the case of a centurion by which a man is killed. If, at the common workbench, one is slain by an animunculi, the associates of the slain may disassemble the animunculi and take its parts within 30 days. It is instructive to compare what Tark has mentioned concerning the rude beasts of the Tenmer forests. If a marsh cat was killed by an Argonian, his family were in disgrace till they retaliated by killing the Argonian, or another like it, but further, if a marsh cat was killed by a fall from a tree, his relatives would take their revenge by toppling the tree, and shattering its branches, and casting them to every part of the forest.
Do you want something? Greetings.
The Arcturian heresy. Mock your... These are lecture notes on the possible uses of Dwemer tubes.
Well met, Outlander. What is it?
Oh my, that's one of the funniest Dwemer artifacts I've seen in my entire life. Ha. Are you actually telling me you don't recognize a fake as poorly made as this one as soon as you lay your eyes on it? This one's definitely a fake. In the first place, all of the scratches on this particular item are of the same width, probably made with a dagger of some sort. Secondly, these edges right here are completely off. According to the amount of damage they applied to it, I suspect they wanted to make it look like very late Dwemer workmanship, but the edges suggest a much earlier Merithic style. Takes someone with experience to see that, but the difference in weight should be obvious to anyone. This thing is flimsy. It even sounds hollow when you tap it. Listen. I'm not going to ask you where you've got this, since I rest assured you'll take care of it yourself. Now if you would excuse me, I've a lecture that needs preparation.
Arcane Restored. Arcane Restored. A Handbook. By Wapna Nustra. Preceptor Emeritus. Form the first, makest thou the mana fountain to be primed with pure gold, for from pure gold only may the humors be rectified, and the pure principles coaxed from the chaos of pure power. Droppest thou then the pure gold upon the surface of the mana fountain, Takest thou exceeding great care to safeguard yourself from the insalubrious tempests of the Mana Fountain, for through such assaults may one's health be utterly blighted. Form the second, make sure that thou havest with you this excellent manual, so that thou might speak the necessary words straightway, and without error, so that thou not in carelessness cause thyself and much else to discorporate and disorder the world with your component humours. Form the third, take in hand the item to be restored, and hold it forth within the primed fountain, murmuring all the while the appropriate phrases, which are to be learned most expeditiously and faultlessly from this manual, and this manual alone, notwithstanding the vile calumnies of Carnison and Ratter, whose bowels are consumed by envy of my great learning, and who do falsely give testament to the efficacies of their own manuals, which are in every way inferior and steeped in error. Form the fourth, proceed instantly to heal thyself of all injuries, or to avail yourself of the healing powers of the temples and healers, for though the agonies of Managost must be borne by any who would restore a prized arcana to full potency, yet it is not wise that suffering be endured unduly, nor does the suffering in any way render the potency more sublime, notwithstanding the foolish speculations of Carnison and Ratter, whose faults and wickednesses are manifest even to the least learned of critics.
Well, hello there. A pleasure to meet you.
The old ways. Should the Lord...
Well, hello there. A pleasure to meet you.
Chronicles of Mchul.
I am never too busy.
Should you need something, I will be happy to...
Any news on Vajanius Harmavus' little scheme? So, Octavius Maris told you it's a fake? Exactly what I thought. Please go and speak to Vajanius for me. Tell him he'll have to stop this at once or he'll suffer the consequences of his crimes.
How can I help you? What was...
I don't believe I've seen a dark elf with such a grand outfit in some time. Can I help you? Is there something wrong with the fine piece I've sold you? I knew someday someone would figure out their fate. I guess I'll have to stop with this sideline. Am I lucky that it's you who figured it out, not some of those obscure types you see wandering the streets sometimes? No, that won't be necessary. I'll have to find another source of income, I guess. A legal one this time. I don't sell those anymore.
I am never too busy.
To what do I owe this
for a
pleasure?
good talk.
Any news on Vajanius Harmavus' little scheme? So Vajanius immediately confessed and agreed to stop selling his cheap fakes? That's wonderful. The company and I are very grateful. I'll take that fake of his as evidence in case he changes his mind. Since you did such a good job on this case, I'd like to ask you for another favor.
East Empire Company, investigate sale of Dwemer artifacts. Kulane Mayer told me of rumors she heard about Vajanius Harmavus. It appears as if he is selling Dwemer artifacts without the permission of the East Empire Company, something that needs to be investigated. I can find Vajanius Harmavus' house right behind the shop of Argel Gro Urgush, the local smith. Vajanius Harmavus has offered me a Dwemer artifact which supposedly belonged to Dumak Dwarf King. Together with this confession, that artifact might be the evidence that Kulane Mayer is looking for. Buying it is for sure the fastest way to collect the evidence. I have bought a Dwemer coherer from Vajanius Harmavus. Kulane Mayer would probably want to see it right away. Kulene questioned the antiquity of the Dwemer artifact I have procured from Vajanius. In order to get a decisive answer, she asked me to show it to Octavius Maris at the Archaeological Society, which is located near Helnum's West Gate. Octavius Maris explained, in far greater detail, what Kulene Mayer was thinking. The artifact I got from Vajanius Harmavus is a fake, and apparently a pretty bad one at that. Kulene asked me to talk to Vajanius and demand that he stop trading in forgeries. Vajanius Harmavus was not really surprised when I returned. He was expecting that someone would figure out his business anytime soon. He promised to stop selling forgeries. Kulene Mayer rewarded me for halting the forged artifact trade in Helnum, at least for the time being.